for the record, MMA is not a system; it's a sport.
Yeah, I agree.
And having been in the Philippines multiple times, and we filmed a documentary, a street fight broke out on the way back from one of the filming. There was like 20, 30 people involved. They were picking up bricks. Now, up until that time, I never thought about a brick defense.
Yeah.
Just like boxing. It's not. It's real contact, not real context.
Yes. Another episode of Empower Online then, guys, and Tim, thank you for joining me today. We could do the usual interview of how you got started, your history, your grades, everything you've achieved, but I think a lot of people already know that, and there's been loads of podcasts that you've been on kind of covering those. So what I'd really like to do is kind of approach this a little bit differently and dig into some of the lessons, the opinions, maybe some of the experiences that you've developed over the past 40 years in martial arts, I suppose. So, if this is okay, first question is going to be, what do you believe about martial arts today that the younger Tim would have completely disagreed with?
Oh, well, that's...
We're starting off strong, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went through Actually, I better wear my glasses for...
And we're back.
There's a lot of things. Just for me, it was like every 5 years I came up with another epiphany of like, why was I thinking that stupid stuff? You know, I started as a partial artist, a backyard brawler with friends who did. I was a Gen X, so first year Gen X, so I'm Gen X Prime, and so if there's a set of boxing gloves, of course we put them on and hit each other.
Yeah.
If someone had nunchucks, of course we swung them around and hit each other and ourselves. You know, and then all my friends did martial arts, and then. So I had street experience. I used to always poo-poo forums and stuff like that. And then I got into doing martial arts and realized the purpose and their value.
Okay.
So probably the biggest thing for me, and from a martial arts thing, it was don't worry about what doesn't work. Worry about what it works for.
Okay.
A lot of times it's the use that we don't understand. So you'll do things like Chi Sao, pushing hands. Like, I'm not going to fight with Chi Sao. No, but the attributes that you develop from that exercise.
Sure.
And a lot of times what people do is they look at drills. And, I mean, drills, by definition, drills build skills. So they look at a drill and you wouldn't fight with that. I go, you are 100% correct. You would never fight with that. But there's fighting techniques in the drill, just like in kata, which, to my opinion, is just another form of a drill. It's static, but it's a drill.
Absolutely, yeah. You've got your catcher and then you've got your kind of bunkai, haven't you? Where you
exactly, and it's about. I mean, listen, if you want to get good at punching and kicking, what do? You punch and kick. Yeah. But the katas work on martial movement. And could you do it without katas? Of course you could. But that's just one methodology.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree, to be fair with you. What kind of widely taught idea in martial arts do you think gives people false confidence then, if we're talking about the martial side of it and then the art side of it as well?
Okay. So, for those who don't watch, I'm very controversial, so I apologize ahead of time.
We like this. This is good.
Yeah. I said, did I mention Gen X Prime?
Yeah.
So, I say that there's no one martial art that works. That's the best. I think that's something that's being taught these days. It's what's the best for you. And I'm out. Okay, I'm responsible for the development of Brazilian jiu-jitsu in our area. Okay. But if you watch my social media content, you would never know that.
Yes, we'll get onto that shortly, I'm sure. But yeah.
So what I see now is that a lot of times people think that their art is the. Listen, you want to think most of the time if you got a good family, you want to think that you got the best family. You know, you go to school, you want to think you got the best school, the best team. I'm in Buffalo, New York. You know, to believe that the Buffalo Bills are the best football team in American football. Okay, not the other
soccer.
football.
Yeah.
Okay, Manchester United. Okay, so and then we can go through whatever. Go down food, music, whatever. Everyone thinks that their thing is the best. I get that. Unfortunately, in martial arts, I think the problem is right now and it's always been this way. It goes all the way back to the '60s when there used to be dojo wars and stuff of that nature. And people think it's all new. The problem here, I think, is with the UFC right now. Everyone's thinking that BJJ and MMA are the big things. And for the record, MMA is not a system; it's a sport.
Yeah, I agree.
There is no school of MMA. There's MMA gyms that teach you, and you go in. You've got a striking coach which teaches you Muay Thai or boxing or both, or you got another guy who teaches wrestling, another guy that teaches Brazilian.
Yeah,
but there is no. And did a club put an MMA curriculum together? I'm not saying that hasn't done, but it's not a martial style. It's like saying sport karate.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, the mindset right now with the BJJ community and the MMA community that theirs is the end all be all, and they're clueless.
So it's got some validity to it. Yeah, it's got some validity to it. Having said that, because it's tried, it's tested. Athletes, they train, they spar,
tested in the ring.
But as you say, it's tested in a ring with lights, a referee, rules, and it's what's the word? It's consensual combat.
Exactly. So I did one of my posts. The UFC isn't real.
Yeah.
And it's real contact, but not real contact. So of course the knee-jerk reaction is everyone thinks. Well, one group of people say, "What are you trying to see? It's like WWE or AEW." No, I'm not trying to say it's professional wrestling. Yeah. That's scripted, by the way. That's what hurts. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't want to
dashed my dreams.
Oh, yeah. Well, I said WWE. I'm not saying what you got over there. But I mean, no. I mean, one of the schools I was training in, we had a professional wrestling program there. Okay.
Yeah.
Those guys are still athletic. And there's real pain when you fly through a table, even though it might be scored a little and stuff like that. Yeah. Chair shot, it's still a chair shot. So I would never tell them, those guys, behind their back or their face, that what they're doing is fake. What I'm saying is scripted.
Yeah.
Okay. The UFC, listen, I would love to have any of those guys back me up in a real fight, but some of those guys might make the situation worse because they might not have the street savvy to know when to get out, because that guy's got something in his hand over there. Mm-hmm. And having been in the Philippines multiple times, and we filmed a documentary, a street fight broke out on the way back from one of the filming. There was like 20, 30 people involved. They were picking up bricks. Now, up until that time, I never thought about a brick defense.
Yeah.
What do you do when someone swings a brick at you?
Sure.
And when I went over there, I was warned, they won't face you straight up if it's to that level. They will wait for you to walk out a building and smash you in the head.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we have places all around the world that have that same kind of mentality. I've been sucker punched before and stuff like that. And unfortunately, sport martial arts doesn't teach you that element. And that's the thing that's not real what they're doing, because as we said, training gear, rules, referees, and they're trying to make sure that everyone can fight again, so you and I can spend money watching these cards, and everyone makes more money.
Of course, yeah, it's a business. Yeah,
just like boxing. It's not. It's real contact, not real context.
Yes, I agree. Or it's a different context, maybe. One-on-one, a street fight, great. Okay, one-on-one street fight, I'll give an MMA guy an advantage, I would say. But then you change things. You put weapons involved. Yeah. You give 2-on-1. You give multiple people. You change the dynamic in terms of maybe there's obstacles in the way. Maybe you're in a closed-off place like a bar where there isn't the room to then move around. The context changes. So I think you put it perfectly there with the context in terms of the contact.
Well, and the other thing we got to remember this: the fighters we see on TV does not represent the community. Yeah, they are the elite of the elite of the elite.
Sure.
Okay. American football, it's less than 1% of all the kids that go to college for it at university actually go into the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's for that where you can get sponsorship and all this other stuff, what's MMA going to be like?
Mm-hmm.
You know, same kind of thing. The thing here is, I would look in a bunch of people's eyes and go, "You don't have the balls to hit someone. I don't care I don't care what degree black belt you're wearing in any martial art. You've never been in a fight. You couldn't fight your way out of a wet paper bag." And the people I don't want to deal with are the ones that have grown up with more street experience, maybe no martial arts experience whatsoever, but are committed that they're going to walk across and punch you in the face no matter what you do in it. You know.
Yeah, it's that mentality.
I was competing in the Philippines, and we were doing padded knife, so it's padded knife fighting, and I was getting frustrated with the referees. It wasn't biased; they just weren't used to. They have a tendency of doing it like it's a magic wand.
Yeah,
The Westerners slap things down and poke. So every time I slap something down, they were giving the opponent points. I really don't care. I medaled. I represented the country well, and the judges that were watching from the outside, they thought I did a great job. Like I said, it's whatever I was doing. But I was fighting with this one German, and I'm German American, by the way. And then I'm like, screw this. I just stood. He goes, okay, go. And I stood up, and I just walked across the ring, and I just was channeling an inner street side of me, and I just walked up to him and slapped his hand down and poked him in the face. He goes, I thought you quit. I go, I didn't quit. I just decided to have that intensity. And if you've ever been in the street, you can see those guys that just sit there and say, I'm going to come and do this, and there's not a damn thing you can do to stop me.
Yeah.
Could I do that match that way every time through the match? No. But that one moment I did, and because of my demeanor, it threw his game completely off. These are the kind of people I'm afraid of in the street, you know, because they have that mindset. They don't care about losing anything. They're going, and if they go down, they're taking a piece of you with them. So,
can you teach that mindset? Do you think? Do martial arts teach that mindset, or do you think that's something you have to experience through?
I think that's environmental, or it's in your DNA.
Yeah.
I had a woman in here, and we were doing chokes, and she broke down crying because she didn't want to choke anybody.
Yeah.
I got people that grab me; they're like all wussy, you know. And I'm like, listen, okay. This is my school, which my office is a little messy at the moment, but in my school, I teach professionally. This is what I do. My goal is to help people become better better than the person they started.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes I'm going to teach people how to protect themselves. Sometimes I'm going to help people build confidence. Maybe other people I'm going to, maybe they're one cheeseburger shy of that coronary, and I can stop that. Burning off energy because someone is acting out and punching and hitting people because they don't have a venue like this that they can come in and use that energy in a positive way. So everyone's goal is a little different. And their needs are different. And I can't teach someone how to be mean. I can't teach someone how to be that level of aggressiveness. However, I can teach people how to become more aware and read the room, and possibly those are the little things that help protect themselves. And to me, that's the big thing right now. And because of some of the violence that's been happening lately, we've been changing up our lessons, not the physical, but more the intellectual, talking about path of least resistance to stuff of that nature.
Sure. So you're adapting to the times and adapting to what's
not
happening.
Everyone. Yeah, and there's hell in one of our states, I think it's Connecticut or Massachusetts. If I kick someone while wearing a shoe, that's assault with a lethal weapon.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but so I'm attacked and I kick somebody. What? Let me take my shoes off. I mean, that's so cliche-ish of the old movies.
Of course, yeah. And it just makes no sense either. So yeah, self-defense is self-defense. Surely there's that legal right to protect yourself.
Some areas, like I don't know, in England, do you have to try to escape?
Yeah, you have to do everything you can. We've got the preemptive strike here, so if you feel that you're under threat, you feel like the threat is imminent, you feel like your safety's in danger right there, you can then strike first in order to create an escape route. But
here, each state is different. You got to stand your ground states, and others that you have to try to escape, even if it's in your own damn home.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's where it gets tricky, isn't it? Yeah. If you're protecting your property, if you're protecting your family, there's not always that opportunity to then just run, and that's often the thing that's said, just run away from the conflict, or just run away, or run away from this, run away from that. Great, okay, but what if my 3-year-old daughter's behind me? Am I going to run with her? No. What if my elderly grandmother is with me or something like that? You going to run away from that? It's contextual again, as you say.
I don't care as much about the laws when it comes to this. I tell people, here are my rules. There's 3 reasons why we do not escape. And the first one, because the exits are cut off.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, you're protecting someone that can't protect themselves.
Yeah.
The third, it's your job, your profession, law enforcement,
Yeah.
military, stuff like that. And even then, if the situation is not where it's at, you should be tactical withdrawal,
Yeah.
regroup, superior numbers and tactics, come back and do what needs to be done. Because obviously, they need to protect us because that's their job. My father was law enforcement and military, and I always, I always thank people for their duty, for all the sacrifices they've made.
Yeah, of course.
And or potential sacrifices. But even then, I mean, everyone wants to make it home to their families every night, and so my mindset is, it's easier said than done. Just walk away, but at the end of the day, you make it home.
Well, exactly, yeah, and I think that should be taught first and foremost, really. What's your opinion on grades then, in grading systems, on what it means to be a black belt? Because obviously there's such a spectrum of black belt now.
Well, I'm all for belts. I'm all for belts because as an educator, it helps me understand who's standing in front of me.
Yeah.
If I look at, so we do belts. We're in summer. We also do color wristbands. So if people, so summer uniform, gi pants, t-shirt, sometimes fight shorts.
Yeah.
The wristband works because it's easy, but
That's what we do. Yeah.
it's easy for me to, I think a grading system is important when you're teaching martial arts. But even if I was even if I had a sport, let's say an MMA gym, I would want something. I'm all about uniforms and keeping everyone part of the team because there's that unity, not because it's to be sterile, but what annoys the BJJ thing really annoyed me because when the schools opened up, and I understand jiu-jitsu uniforms are so damn expensive. They were hard. I mean, I was there at the birth of MMA.
Yeah.
So there were no jiu-jitsu uniforms. They were all judo uniforms.
Yeah.
They're expensive, And so the academies opened up, and they didn't. A lot of them didn't even have them. They let you order your own stuff, and you got this rainbow of uniforms, and people don't look like a team.
Sure.
Now, like me, I actually have my own jiu-jitsu line of uniforms, which people are like, you got to be kidding me, with all the track. I got rash guard, fight shorts, boxing gloves, MMA gloves, and jiu-jitsu, as well as our Arnis uniforms.
Okay.
Because I want everyone looking the same because we look like a team. And if you go to any sporting event, how many people are wearing the jerseys in the audience? People, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, they have uniforms. Law enforcement, hell, your sanitary engineers or your garbage men, garbage people. They have uniforms and they look big. And I like that. So I like that. I like belting. I would make sure that everyone would have all that stuff. So I would have something so I know what courses they took. So it's easier to, you could look it up and stuff of that nature. But if I can look at a waist or chevrons on a shirt or wristbands, I know I don't have to, because, when it was different when I had a small club. But I mean, I don't have a big club. I got about 80 people. I got a large facility, but I only have about 80 people.
Yeah.
There's clubs over here that work with us in my organization. They have 700 people at one location.
Yeah.
At one location.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And like when you're standing in front of a whole bunch of people, you don't know. Especially, I teach so many seminars. Now, when I do a seminar, it's easy. They're all white belts in what I do, but I'm going to look at their belts to see what their level of experience is. Okay, so if there's black belts, there's a good chance they know how to break fall.
Yep.
They should, but I mean, not all systems might. I mean, I don't know if Shotokan Karate teaches break falls.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if. Well, actually, I do know that Aikido doesn't teach punching and kicking, but or
Yeah.
not effective punching and kicking. So,
Yeah.
but when I can look at a belt, I can know who I'm working with, and if I use them as an uke, or all right, what's their level of understanding? Which also means, am I speaking more street or
Yeah.
more philosophical?
Sure.
Who's the crowd?
Yeah.
So I like it as an educational, but at the end of the day, the belt doesn't mean shit because you can wear all the belts you want. I make my belt have value. The belt doesn't make me. I make the belt.
Do you think the average black belt could protect themselves in a violent encounter?
No, because we would have to look at the school.
Okay.
Okay,
Would you
so
look at the
I
school
know
or look at the
schools that
system?
have completely got rid of sparring because they're they're having retention problems because people get hurt and
Yeah.
they leave.
Yeah.
I mean, so and okay, well let's use BJJ as the example. I'll make it okay, which they probably have the biggest dropout rate of anyone out there.
Yeah.
How many people make it? What percentage makes it the blue belt? And then what percentage quits after
It's a
making it
tiny
the blue?
percent. Yeah, it's a tiny percent. It gets just smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, doesn't it?
Because a lot of people won't make it to blue, and then they become blue, and it's the equivalent of becoming. I'm not saying that blue belts are the equivalent of black belts. That's not what I'm saying. But like in a lot of schools, they've done their thing, and all of a sudden they become a black belt, and there's a big exodus of students because they kind of were. They had enough long before it was over, and they're like, yeah, but I want to get my black belt and finish that off.
Yeah.
I'd say the first thing we have to do is look at the system.
Yeah.
But to me, it's more school based because it's more of this culture that you develop in your school. And are you a self defense school or are you a sports school?
Yeah.
So if we do sports jiu-jitsu, I'm going to say that those people are going to have that hands on, that pushing pull, and they're going to have the conditioning.
Yeah. The mental and the physical conditioning.
But they're not going to have the street sense, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, one, jiu-jitsu players do not know how to deal with punches and kicks unless their program cross-trains. But it's not in the system. It was at one time. Oh, actually, I mean, and in Japanese jiu-jitsu, where it all comes from,
Yeah.
and in case you guys haven't heard my jokes, because over here they're sick of my jokes, remember, BJJ is basically just judo.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
well, no, but it's the newaza of judo.
It's the Newa, so yeah.
Yeah, so the samurai did jujitsu, and they wanted to play. They did judo, and then it wasn't Kona. It was I forgot the guy's name. Someone who brought it over to Brazil, and they didn't have judo tatami mat. So what do they do? They fought at the beach a lot.
Yeah.
So they taught them the newaza. Okay, so it's a diluted version of another diluted version. Are they good at that? Sure, but. But the thing here is they're not dealing with punching and kicking and stuff of that nature now. They focus on, if they're focusing on the curriculum, okay, if you don't have good strikers coming at you, how do you defend against strikers? So I think most black belts out there did not go into this because they felt the need to protect themselves.
No.
No, I think, listen, what's the primary demographic over there across the pond with you guys? Is it kids?
So at my school, it's about 60-40% adults, but most of them come to get fitter, to get healthier, to have that community side of it. We're all nice. We're all approaching middle age. We're not going out fighting every week. We just want a nice place to go.
Okay. No different than a kids club. Like if you go to a karate school or a martial arts school that's primarily focused on the kids, what do? They want to work on discipline, focus, control, physical fitness, coordination. It's not that they don't want to do the physical aspects of it, but they're not. And then you might get the percentage of people that come in for self-defense is minimal now.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I think if you're in a competitive school, you will be more physical.
Yeah.
So we are not a competition school, but we are a school that does competition.
Uh-huh.
And we're mostly in the sport karate realm because there's not a lot of Arnis tournaments.
Okay. Yes.
So we're doing weapons, kata, kumite, and we do well. because our Filipino martial art does punch and kick.
Yeah.
Most don't. So, and this is how I would look at it in martial arts. So if I'm looking at FMA, if I'm going to look at Balintawak Eskrima, which is one of the arts I'm trained in,
Yeah.
it is all weapon all the time.
Yeah.
Well, how practical is that in a real world scenario? Plus, most Balintawak people don't spar, weapon or otherwise.
Drill.
So for me, I look at my own systems, my own family systems, I look at the martial art industry. I would say everyone have a better chance of defending themselves because of awareness. But I think it's those skills that have to rely on more than the physical skills.
Agreed.
Because I don't think they're tested.
Yeah. Let's talk Filipino martial arts then, because that's obviously kind of what you're known for.
Really? I thought it was
just a little bit, yeah. And being controversial, of course, as well. That's the one. Hit the nail on the head. So what would you show maybe a complete beginner in, say, 10 or 15 minutes that would make them understand why Filipino martial arts has that kind of extra bit of something, that special sauce that's kind of like, okay, this is different?
So the big thing for me is showing the connection of everything. So what I really like is that what I can do with the hand, I can do with the weapon and vice versa. So first of all, we have to understand, did you lose me?
No, you're back. You're good.
Okay. And my computer's, of course,
That's okay. I can still hear you. It will catch up.
Okay. I got updates all of a sudden popped on my computer.
Bing, 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 bing. It's all good.
Yeah, you didn't update this, by the way. I'm like, oh, shoot. You have to update it now. So, first of all, at least if we're talking so I do what I call Presas Arnis. So I studied under Remy Presas as my primary instructor. I was with one of his students, and I left the school. The school was going a different direction, and then the Grandmaster reached out to me. So I worked with him directly after that as a brown belt on. So I ended up being one of his senior students. I also worked with his brother Ernesto Presas, and friends with the family, and Roberto. The three brothers all taught. They're no longer with us.
Yeah.
But I don't favor one of the brothers. I teach the systems together. So I go Presas Arnis. So we do everything. Our weak spot is ground fighting. That's our Achilles heel. I'll be the first to say that. But we punch, kick, we lock, throw, we do the stick and knife, and whatever. So the first thing I would say, all right, if I'm showing someone who's has a martial art background, I'll say, well, teach me about what you do. I'll say, all right, well, here, don't think of this as a weapon. Think of this as a prop to teach something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the first of all, at least here in North America or United States, 1 in 3 physical violent encounters go to the ground.
Yeah.
1 in 3 use a weapon. So I mean, 2/3 of the time you're on your feet, whether you're armed or not. Okay.
Sure.
But it means you need to have a ground game of some sort, and you need to know how to deal with these. If you're actively looking to protect yourself, these are the things that you need to do research in. So the first thing is say, all right, here's the deal. You're not going to carry all this stuff with you. And I went a year without carrying a knife on me. And I carry a knife because I used to live on a farm with my father. Bags of feed, bales of hay, and it's just for opening up boxes. Is it a tactical folder? Well, of course it is, because they're more durable. And I got a good deal on it. But I left it behind on one of my trips, and then it became a social media thing where I ended up doing a full year, without carrying a knife. It's like, it's like Alcoholics Anonymous. Hey, I'm a knifeaholic. My name's Tim Hartman. I'm a knifeaholic.
Yeah.
And I got through my year, and they didn't give me a chip or anything, which annoyed the hell out. Now I'm hardly carrying it, and I'm not saying that, but I never carried it. There's too many places I go that you cannot carry a weapon. You can't go into government buildings. You can't go into school systems. These are federal offenses, airports, stuff of that nature. So people, what are you going to do without your sticks and knives? I want to punch you in the face, knucklehead. But what I can do with this is I take this. Someone goes to put their arm out, whether it's armed or not. I cut, I grab, I hit. You can swing a weapon at me. I cut, I grab, I hit. You go to grab me. I cut, I grab, I hit. Okay. I slap, I grab, I hit.
Same thing.
So I do. Then I say, all right, here we go. I cut, I grab, I go low, and I disarm you. We're both armed. We do it a bunch of times. Then I put my knife down. You swing at me. I hit. I do the same motion. And I do the unarmed. Because to me, the disarms are supposed to be done unarmed. Because you're not going to have weapons everywhere you go. So I think it's a great tool. Like when I teach forms, because we do forms, I do my weapon. I'll do, so we'll do, for one belt, we'll do a weapon form. The next belt, we'll do a hand form. Well, the reason why I always start with a weapon form is to teach them my left and right, because I have a prop. I know it's my right hand.
Sure.
And it keeps things easier. Sometimes when I do kata, I'll put a glove. We'll put our sparring glove on. Say, all right, put one of your gloves on. Put your right one on. Then I have to tell half the people, that's your left. Go back, switch gloves.
Sure.
But then we do the moves in the air. And if I'm doing a move and you see a gloved hand and non-gloved hand, it's easier for you to follow along. So I use a lot of props.
Yeah.
To help with my teaching.
Visual cue.
And I think the sticks are a great thing about teaching movement, because, you know, if I'm going to hit you with a weapon, I'm going to hit you on the right side of your body, your left side, the top, and the front. Okay, once you get that in your head, you realize, well, that's how punches and kicks are. They're going to hit me on the right, they're going to hit me on the left, they're going to hit me in the front, and maybe come overhead, probably not unarmed, but with a weapon, they can come overhead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all the same thing. So I understand about lines of movements and stuff like that. That's the big thing. And that's more connoisseur communication.
Yeah.
You know, to the novice, they don't know. You know, I can't. Yeah, you know, like once again, when I'm teaching seminars, it's all I got to read the room.
Yeah.
You know, I got a lot of beginners in their martial art. That's not going to work good for us. Or we've got, or it's like, all right, we got a black belts and everything. I can really teach a master level class.
Yeah, really deep dive and yeah. Like you say, go into that more of the philosophy. Do you think Filipino martial artists are good at collecting techniques and drills, but maybe less effective at the fighting side of it?
We are definitely drill and technique driven.
Yeah.
I think the problem here, the best thing that happened for Filipino martial arts is that Remy Presas, my teacher, proved that you could make a business teaching martial arts. Mm-hmm. The worst thing that happened for Filipino martial arts was Remy Presas proved that you could do a business teaching Filipino martial arts.
Okay, yeah.
So then we get a lot of people who have no right to teaching. They might even be trading on the race in the Philippines, teaching tourists that don't know.
Right.
Better. Here's the problem with Filipino martial arts. It's the strength and the weakness. We use weapons. How much sparring can we do? Then you get the weak calf group, which, by the way, I do work with weak calf, so I make these comments. And then you dress like a knight in armor, but with padded armor. And you beat the crap out of each other. And because there's two types, they do continuous and then blade rules. Continuous, you'll see the whack-a-mole type thing.
Sure.
And then blade rules is like sport karate fighting, where it's point. I do both training, but I do minimal armor.
Yeah.
I've got padded sticks that actually, they're made very well. And when you don't block, you feel it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the problem with Filipino martial arts schools, or Filipino martial arts in general, I would say the majority of them do not teach them as a self-sufficient art.
Okay.
So what people do is, what's your martial art?
Me personally? Yeah, so I do kickboxing, JKD, Kali.
Okay.
That's the three.
So what was your primary? What did you start in?
I started in Aikido back when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry. You had to wear the skirt.
Me too.
Okay, no. Actually, though, those locks are amazing. I'll say that. But
it's got uses, but yeah.
Why did you leave it?
Because there wasn't enough pressure testing.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So then what did you go into after that?
Kickboxing, then MMA.
Okay, so you did your striking art. Okay, so why'd you go into weapon training?
To enhance the.
Okay.
the hands, really. Yeah.
There we go.
And it was
then
over COVID kind of time as well, so I thought, okay, this is good social distance training and follow the JKD lineage and the Inosanto lineage, etc.
okay. So your FMA was not done as a primary. Your done was a supplemental system.
Yes.
That's the problem with FMA. So my first martial art is modern Arnis. That's what I started in.
Yeah.
And fortunately, it's an art that actually teaches punching and kicking.
Yeah.
Now, I remember going to my first tournament, I got my ass whooped. I had no clue because I didn't know how to train for it, because our school didn't train for it.
Okay.
Because we didn't do that. Even though our one book, the professor, they call it the pink book, we do it by the colors of the cover. There was the white book. The first one was the Practical Art of Eskrima. The second one was Modern Stick Fighting.
Yeah.
And that was done in the Philippines. That's a big pink book, and it's got all the sparring rules in the back. I'd have people at camps when we're sparring like, "Oh, Remy doesn't like tournaments. Really? Do you have the book?" "Yeah, I do." Go to page 94, or whatever the page happened to be at the time.
Cool.
I hate you, Hartman. And it was like, I hate you. I'm like, yeah, because I'm right, and that's it, And when I was younger, I was a little more, I was not a good winner.
Okay.
But the thing here is, this is all I've done.
Yeah.
So our art has all of it. I just had to learn how to apply my skills to the sport karate scene, because if I wanted to do tournaments, that's all that was here in the area, until I started developing my own tournaments, which had sport karate and stick fighting part of it.
Okay.
So I do Balintawak Scream, which is stick dueling only.
Yeah.
Stick fighter versus stick fighter, like fencing.
Yeah.
I've done fencing, all to augment. And the problem is most Filipino martial arts programs I see out there are not full-fledged schools that are teaching people that are completely devoted to this. They're using, when it comes to their open hand combatives, they rely on another system. So they say, "Oh, okay, we're going to teach you the stick. You do your grappling thing over there with the jiu-jitsu people. Oh, you're a kickboxer? Yeah, you do your punch kick thing over there."
Yeah.
Because it's not in their depth of knowledge. They don't have that in there. And versus looking at fundamentals, I mean, like I said, once again, where does kickboxing come from?
Go on.
Karate.
Yeah.
Bunch of karate guys said, "Hey, let's compete higher level," and they supplemented it with boxing. So the lineage is there. So look at this kickboxing. It's bad. Like, it's funny. The jiu-jitsu people. "Oh man, karate's terrible. What do you think about kickboxing? It's awesome. Where do you think it came from?" You just have to take what you have. See, I don't think a system is deficient.
Yeah.
I just don't think every school trains for all these different scenarios.
Sure.
Because when I do my disarming and stuff like that, so most of my clients outside my school are karate, taekwondo, fill in the blanks like that, jiu-jitsu players, I teach bunkai to their forms all the time. Mm-hmm. And they go, "Listen, do you do this movement?" "Yeah, well, here it is right here with a knife." "Do you do this movement here?" "Oh, yeah." "Do you do this?" "Yeah, well, there's grab and here's the disarm."
Yeah.
"Oh, I never thought about that application." So it's not about what you do, is what are you training for? And are you thinking about it? So that's where I think, but I do say this, that Filipino martial arts is I think its biggest downfall is that it's taught as a secondary or tertiary art, not as a primary art. And if you're going to teach as a primary art, you need to make sure that it is applicable to anybody who's coming through that door. Little Billy or Johnny that wants to learn how to protect themselves, and all you do is swing sticks around.
Yeah. You're missing it.
Most of my clients are kids. Mm-hmm. Parents aren't going to sit there and just let us do stick dueling all day.
Yeah, sure.
So, but if that's all you have, you will never have any. And if you're trying to run a school, you will never have any significant numbers. It's important for a business if you're trying to provide for your family like I do. It's important for my heart, because I made a promise to my teacher I was going to do my best to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And I need to attract more people. I want to see the art go forward, so that means it needs to be accessible by everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Preserving the art then. So, do you think it should continue to evolve? Or do you think it should freeze and you should kind of preserve it the way that it was taught to you?
Okay, so people, I'm misquoted a lot on this one.
Okay.
You cannot have innovation if you don't have structure. It's then chaos.
Okay. Yeah.
You can still teach your fundamentals,
Yeah.
but have better applications.
Okay. So the fundamentals are always going to be there, but then from the fundamentals comes.
And I changed. So, like, one of the things I've done, so we have the angles of attack, how you attack someone.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 12 angles of attack. So so Remy Presas was the founder of Modern Arnis. The last person he trained with before creating that system was Anshan Bakan, the founder of Balintwak.
Okay.
We do the same angles of attack in a different numerical order.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So we strike, we poke, more strikes, back to poking, and then top of the head. That's
Yep.
it. So I've been hemming and hawing for a long time, and I'm like, all right, I've come up with a new delivery system for those angles of attack. So same angles, different delivery system.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right, what do people need first? Well, most likely, if we're talking sticks, that's impact weapons, so we shouldn't be worrying about stabs. We should be worrying about all strikes. So I do all the strikes first.
Okay.
So I have the basic 8, so it's the 7 strikes and the first poke. So I go shoulders, high, forehand, backhand. So all the angles are taught. So when Remy taught them, all the angles were taught in pairs with the exception of the 2 center lines. 5 was poke the belly, 12 was top of the head.
Yeah.
But if they're all forehand and backhand, except for the leg shots were backhand and forehand. So the first thing I said, if we're going to teach pairs, we're going to keep it simple and consistent. Everything's a forehand first.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So high, 1, 2. Middle, 3, 4.
Oh, yeah.
Low, 5, 6. Top of the head, 7. And then the first poke. That's what I teach beginners.
Okay.
Then, after they get going with it, I will then, there it is. I will then teach more of the connoisseur attacks. Here's the shoulder poke, and then
Yep.
the cutting poke. So when Professor did strikes 2 ways. He'd strike with control, and then he'd do follow through. Well, the same thing with the pokes. This was the control poke, and when it was follow through, he would hook like this.
Sure.
Which makes them 2 unique angles of attack, not the same angle of attack.
Yeah.
And before it was poke the shoulder here, poke the eye there. I'm like, that's a different target. It's not a different angle.
Okay. Yeah.
So I changed the delivery system. I didn't change the angles.
Yeah.
So better applications. Oh, listen, everything was modern at one time. The most traditional martial art was a modern fighting system.
Sure.
And they kept it because, hey, this is the way my teacher taught me. I'm going to teach you the same way. Because it works for me, it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But we need to check things and go, all right, is that we don't want to lose the old information. So in jiu-jitsu, there was Japanese. There are systems that would do body armored throws and recovery.
Yes.
That went out the window when gunpowder was applied to little projectiles.
Little bullets. Yeah.
Now, body armor's back.
Mm-hmm.
So now that traditional thing is now relevant again.
On full circles.
So I don't like throwing stuff out.
Yeah.
But I actually in our curriculum we have a section, a historical section that we put things. Hey, we're going to do this. It's not for belt. We're going to do this because it may become relevant again, but we don't want to throw it out.
Okay.
Work was done. It was good for whatever it was
at that time.
Don't trash it. Just put
Yeah.
it in a little thing, holding pattern.
Yeah.
Everything, you got to take things out of context. I think you may have seen the video where the guy has a knife to the throat and he pinches that down. He goes underneath and he takes it out of the guy's hand. That may have been relevant at one time because it may have been in feudal Japan with body armor and all this other, and that may have made sense. Unfortunately, no one has the audio of that video, so we don't know what context it was being taught in. Now, if someone's literally saying, hey, we do this, no, hell no.
Yeah. But if you're given a historical context of something.
Yeah. But now we take a different, what we do is we put our jaw in the way of our carotid artery to keep it from getting cut. Well, that's a different story.
Yeah.
And that actually got from an alleged SAS agent, alleged, I had no vetting service, but
Okay.
but I mean, just for a seminar that was done over here.
Sure.
But the you got to look at things at the big scheme of things. He's like, why would you do this? Why would you do that? That makes no sense. Well, there's armor on here. Okay. Why would you put your chin in front of a blade? Because it's going to cut your carotid. Yeah. Oh, shit. That's a tough decision, but yeah, there really isn't much of a...
Which is
what do you do? Yeah. What do you do?
Exactly. Grandmasters then. So this is a Filipino kind of terminology, and it's often used. You're smiling already.
It's half, it's everyone else's that the Filipinos adopted to theirs.
Okay.
Because there's Japanese grandmasters and Korean grandmasters long before Filipino martial art grandmasters.
What do you think that title should actually mean? Do you think that title should exist? And what do you think it should mean?
I'm going to say it does exist and leave it at that.
Okay.
I happen to have a grandmaster title that was awarded to me by the family, the late Grandmaster Ernesto Presas.
Yeah.
So, so first of all of my titles were earned. They were not self-appointed.
Cool.
And one of my titles, Datu, means tribal chief. And a lot of people say, how can you be a Datu? You're a white man. Then other Filipinos are like, hey, Datu Tim. And I'm like, when I'm in the Philippines, hey, Datu. And I'm like, you don't have to call me that. You can call me Tim.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of people, just call me Tim. I mean, that's why it's signed in right there in my name, Tim.
Sure. Yep.
But when I'm on the mats, I go by the title, and that's what Professor wanted me to go by, Datu, and it was important to him. It was important to me.
Yeah.
As far as the Grandmaster title, okay, so for me, the title is the person who's in charge of the system.
Okay.
So I think you could have, if you have, okay, in Kombatan, where my Grandmaster title comes from, GGM, Great Grandmaster Ernesto, was a 10th degree. And for 8th and 9th, he gave out Grandmaster titles. And I was a 9th degree with him. I don't want to be hypocritical about that, but it wasn't self-appointed. I go what Professor Presas did. Remy, his older brother, there was only one, and that's the person who's in charge. As far as I'm concerned with modern Arnis, there is no Grandmaster because we'd all have to get behind that person.
Sure.
And acknowledge them. Now, we could have different lineage, and actually, in this case, I think we could have 3 Grandmasters. We can have one for the Philippines, one for Europe, and one for the Americas.
Yeah.
But, now, I mean, I have friends that are 7th degree black belts in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And by definition, they are considered a Grandmaster.
Yeah.
They have only one school. To me, if we're talking about what's a qualification for a Grandmaster, well, they should be the top person in the system, but they should be the leader of the system.
Yeah.
The leader. It's a position. It's not a rank.
The head honcho.
And which doesn't necessarily mean you have to be 10th degree, because maybe your teacher died and you're only an 8th, and you got to figure out, do you automatically bump to 10 or you want to go a long way? Mm-hmm. And I can see why you do both. I'm not gonna pass judgment there. So, but the thing is, to me, it's a position. So what would you have? Okay, so you should have students. Okay, there we go. You should have multiple locations, and you should have multiple chapters of what you're doing. You don't have to have multiple schools, but I have students throughout the world.
Yeah.
Okay, and my biggest accomplishment, and I think the one that makes me smile the most inside and out, we did my birthday camp, the 50th anniversary, which is also the 25th anniversary of our organization. And I had 4 generation of black belts on the floor.
Cool. Yeah, nice.
That to me, because, there's a downstream. I have my black belt students. They have their black belt students. They have their black belt students.
Sure.
That, if it's just you and it's just your backyard group, there's only 5 or 6. Why would you be a Grandmaster?
Yeah.
Why do you need it?
Yeah, I agree.
But when I'm in the Philippines, I call you Grandmaster, so you call me Grandmaster.
Yeah, so it's a mutual thing. Okay. Yeah.
There's a lower standard over there than everywhere else.
Interesting. Okay.
If we're thought about it, but this okay, when people talk about, Filipino martial arts has this problem, no, everybody has this freaking problem. It's just a little more rampant in the Philippines. Things are cheaper there. You got a better exchange rate.
Yeah, okay. Fair. Interesting. Okay, we've kind of covered this, but what do you think MMA and BJJ practitioners misunderstand about self-defense?
Multiple attackers, weapons, hard surfaces. They I think the biggest problem is they misunderstand their success while rolling for real world applications. Case in point, one of my students, he has his own school. He's a Kempo guy first, Arnis second. And one of his kids over there is doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the side.
Yeah.
13-year-old, who he outweighs this 13-year-old by at least 100 pounds. This 13-year-old, I think I can take you down. Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then it's like, all right, well, if you have a knife, I think I can subdue you. Really? So this is your teacher teaching you everything, you know, the old, I've taught you everything you know, not everything I know type stuff. So
Yeah.
and it comes from, this is what I think is wrong with that BJJ MMA community. I mean, like, why would this child think he could take on someone bigger because they're constantly told that BJJ is better than everything under the sun?
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. You know, like, okay, if we're going to spar and we don't set the rules and someone shoots and you don't have a grappling background, you could be screwed.
Yeah.
I've seen, and then again, one of my students became, so I've developed a cage fighting champion through Arnis. Okay. And when he first used to come at us and try to do, leg takedowns, we would knock him silly. He got knocked out several times in class. Not on purpose. That's just what, because he was going for a single or double leg with no setup.
Yeah.
So if you take the jiu-jitsu person and take the kickboxer and you put them in the ring and jiu-jitsu does their thing and kickboxing does their thing, I think at the lower levels, the strikers are going to do better at first.
Mm-hmm.
Because these guys don't know how to enter against punching and kicking.
Yep.
Eventually, it might equal out, but I think it's going to be here at the beginning. They might catch up if they're doing cross training.
Yep.
And then if they stay, if you stay this side pure, it might go this way. But then again, once again, if both people are equal, I'm going to favor the striker more times than not.
Okay.
Because of all the things you practice. It's like if you did judo versus jiu-jitsu. If the jiu-jitsu player got the person to the ground, my money's on the jiu-jitsu player all day long because they're hyper-focused on the ground.
Yeah.
But the judoka is hyper-focused on doing that throw.
Yeah, and will get you to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I'm sorry. Are you going to pull guard on me? You're going to sit on your butt and butt, scoot across the floor? That doesn't work in a street fight. And people misunderstand success. I had a guy, he kept counting all of his victories, all of his tap-outs. I'm like, but they're white belts.
Yeah, sure.
What's like Kramer back in Friends, King of the Dojo, Kramer. You're in the kids' class.
Yeah.
This guy's bigger than me, but he's a white belt in what you do. He's a 4th degree black belt in Kempo karate,
Sure.
and you both decided to wrestle.
Yeah.
You didn't say you can punch me.
Yeah. Yeah, set the rules first. Yeah.
If you see, okay, so you came a kickboxer. You probably saw some old sport karate videos back in the day.
Sure, yeah.
That's pretty freaking brutal if you actually see. The problem is
proper stuff, yeah.
We didn't have these growing up.
No.
I don't have a lot of footage of me because my camcorder cost me $1,500 to buy when I was making $4 an hour.
Sure, yeah.
And today you get a cell phone, even a shitty cell phone's got a great camera in it.
Yeah.
And you can film on, where's your footage, Tim?
Yeah.
We didn't have it, man.
Not at them. Yeah.
We were drawing pictures.
Yeah.
we were doing the Kodak. We had to flip it like this for the color.
It a few times. Yeah. Flipping that around, then, what do you think traditional self-defense instructors misunderstand about fighters or competitors?
What? Okay, you garbled a little.
Sorry. So flipping that around, what do you think the traditional self-defense instructors misunderstand about fighters or competitors? So kind of the other way around now.
So okay. Level of physicality. Mm-hmm. I say if you take a lot of these people, okay, because if you look at more the traditionalist schools, the big thing in the big 800-pound gorilla in the States is still Taekwondo.
Sure.
Actually, striking arts.
Yeah.
Striking arts. So I belong to Martial Arts Industry Association.
Yep.
And Century, the owner of Century, Mike Dillard, the son, Mikey Jr., showed up and they did the chart. He goes, this is based on all of our sales. We do surveys, all this other stuff. Jiu-jitsu was the top 3. It's in the top 3. But I wouldn't have done I wouldn't have done their charts the way they did it, because they're saying it was like karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, then all these other arts. I'm like, no. What you should have done is striking versus grappling.
Yeah.
Because then I think that would have been a much better, because who cares if it's kung fu or this, that, or the other thing? Striking arts are more popular, period.
Okay.
You know, but the physicality of MMA and BJJ, a lot of these karate and all these traditional styles, they say they're tough. They're not pushing and pulling. They're not, that's that resistance training that you get. You get that tactile feedback immediately when you're doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing.
Yeah, from day one.
Well, maybe not in kickboxing right away, because you shouldn't be sparring for a while.
Not day one, yeah.
Although I'd probably bring you out day one and say, hey, come on, let's just walk around and hit me. I'm going to throw a couple light punches so you can get, because I know they'll see everyone sparring. When do I get to do that? I go, come here. You and me, we play. I've sparred with people day one here, whether it be stick, open hand, or whatnot, because I don't want them left out of the activity.
A way to do
we're
it.
not bumping the shit out of each other. Say, here, hit me in the body. Good. I'm going to hit you back. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Now go hit the back.
Yeah.
But that's, I think the traditional martial arts don't understand that level of physicality.
I agree. Yeah.
We're part of a tournament league, and the karate fighters, some of the top ones, they bang pretty damn hard. And Rashad Evans started as a tournament guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of top fighters, well, in the UFC, were traditional karatekas. And then a lot of kickboxers started in that. Actually,
Cheetah, GSP, they all came from traditional arts.
Yeah. So, but it's to what level you want to play. And unfortunately, I think there's that disconnect between the two that they don't understand. I have friends in both realms.
Yeah.
I have a good friend who actually coached Guy Metzger to become the UFC champion. He himself used to box for Don. Wait. I can't even think of it. Don King.
Yeah, okay.
He was a professional boxer for Don King.
Yeah.
So I mean, a girl I used to sponsor was from my friend's Taekwondo school, Julie Kedzie. She fought in the UFC, and I helped her with her website for a while. And it came from a Taekwondo school, goes into there. And these are all, but because they leveled up, but they came from a traditional school that didn't have that level of contact.
Yeah, sure.
But I think some of the places have that disconnect where they just don't understand. And I think that's one of the things, and like I said, it goes back to where I think the downfalls of the strength is the weakness usually of most styles. Yeah. And the strength of MMA and BJJ is that physicality.
Yeah.
What's the weakness? The same thing, because they're always doing that physicality and don't understand that there's other things to it.
Sure.
And, and they mistake the success for playing in the dojo for something that would happen in the street.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Let's talk about your social media growth then. So you you grew your social media up from around 7,000, I think, something like that, to kind of over 500,000 now. What changed?
Yes, I started at 7,200.
There we go. Yeah.
And I am, that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm at 525,000 right now.
What changed? What did you do?
In just a little 2 years. Well, I got a good company I work with.
Okay.
People Trendy. So if you're gonna do social media, the big thing is consistency. Well, wait, that's the same thing with martial arts. Go figure.
Yeah.
So I've always been listen. Things are what they are. They just call it different things. It's advertising. Social media is advertising.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone fool you.
Yeah.
So I've advertised in print. I've advertised on websites. I've had discussion groups go through all this stuff. It's all the same damn thing, just a different platform, but you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So why'd I blow up? Consistency and edginess. So first of all, if you want to be popular, if you want views, you don't have to be popular. If you want a lot of views, you can easily throw on a thong and do some booty popping and this, that, but no one wants to see this in a thong, okay? And if you do, you're a bunch of sick screw jobs out there. and but or you can be controversial.
Yep.
So first of all, I have my team. We'll do a video shoot in an afternoon. We'll do 50 to 60 videos.
Wow. Okay.
They'll go back. They'll cut it all up. They'll do all the graphics, and then they will release it on 4 platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, on a daily basis. And then there's the topics. So I don't say anything I don't believe in. Sometimes I turn it up to 11. Sometimes 15. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I also say things that are open enough where people can misinterpret what I'm saying. They do it all the time.
Yeah.
Or people just don't listen because, well, people are dumb.
Yeah.
Well, I did a video saying that jiu-jitsu is silly for self-defense. I go, actually, that was the hook. So first thing you do, you need to have the hook to get the audience attention.
A bit of controversy or a bit of a statement that's bold and yeah.
But or I'll make it real simple for you guys because maybe that doesn't work for you. You need to have a clickbaity title. Okay, so I say that right off the bat. Okay. Oh, they're listening. And I go, this is to all my fans that say because I'm wearing shoes, I'm not a real martial artist.
Yeah.
So then I talk about shoes. I don't talk about jiu-jitsu. I talk about shoes. Mm-hmm. But then I use jiu-jitsu in the topic. And people are like, oh, I can still do my moves with shoes on. I go, that's my point, moron. Yeah. Why are you saying that? Oh, look, you're wearing shoes on the mats. It tells me everything I need to know. Yeah. You know what it does? It does. It tells you I'm a successful martial artist that owns his own gym and can afford brand new mats. And I like to wear shoes on them, which are dedicated for the school. I don't wear shoes out in the street and then wear them in here.
Yeah.
But the thing here is I'm 61 years old. I'm on my feet all day. I need the arch support for when I'm teaching that much.
Sure, yeah.
Because I do like teaching. I don't have all these people teach for me and I sit around in the office.
Yeah.
But it's or I do a training camp and I'm on my feet, 6-7 hours a day. Mm-hmm. All right. If I'm in somebody else's school, I will ask them, can I wear mat shoes? And by the way, Kung Fu wears shoes, wrestling wears shoes.
Yeah.
Boxing wears shoes.
Yeah.
So, I was like, hey, Kung Fu, you saying Bruce Lee is bad? And I know you won't say it because you got it all behind you. So I made that topic, and then everyone's coming after me left and right, and they don't even listen. And then finally, my fans are like, did you listen to this or just watch the video with the volume off?
Yeah, sure.
And just read the title.
Yeah.
So, or at times I go, okay, the person's going to grab me. Oh, that punch would never work. Of course not, because he's grabbing me, you moron.
Yeah, okay.
So, but you gotta, I'll say some edgy stuff to get people to watch. I do not lie. I believe in everything I say, but unfortunately, because it's anywhere from 45 to 90 seconds,
yeah,
we might not, I don't have time to get into every little nuance and discussion. Like, we've been at this for over an hour. This is great. We can talk and talk and talk.
Yeah.
But if you said, all right, Tim, in 30 seconds or less, answer this question.
Sum up everything. Yeah.
I can't. I'm going to give you something. Well, what about this? Yeah, I believe that too. Well, you didn't say that. I only had 30 seconds, moron.
Sure. Yeah. Where do you think the line is between expressing a strong opinion and then manufacturing controversy for attention? Do you think there is a line?
Well.
He's smiling again.
So, Danny D'Onofrio and I used to go back and forth. Danny D'Onofrio is with the same company, and the people trying to ask me, they reached me out. We were here filming one day. Go, hey, how do you feel about doing point counterpoint with one of our guys? Yeah. You had the fastest growth of everybody. We want to help build this up. Would you mind doing something? I go, as long as he's okay, great. We already filmed his.
Okay, yeah.
So, and then I got him on the phone. We talked. You sure about this? Yeah, okay. Because I was just like, all right. Because if I'm going all in, And we went back and forth, and they did a funny one, but it was Matt Araya had something to do with it. They did like Matt comes walking in. Tim Hartman sent me with a pair of baseball bats, pretending they're Ninja Turtles, and they're doing all. They show Matt beating the crap out of each other. This is what Tim thinks, and then here's what really happens, and they throw Matt around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I do a response video. This is funny. You all should watch this. They're wrong. And according to this video, they really need to join my university here because they don't know how to hold a stick. But, But the thing here is point, counterpoint, and spirited debates, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I've got no problem with that. And I haven't fought anyone online. There's a couple people I've been going back and forth on, um, and, and a bunch of it's real.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone takes a shot out of me out of nowhere, and I'm like, hey,
Whoa. Right.
well, okay, you're going to say this. That's fine. And actually, Sam Alvey and I became friends
Yeah.
because he saw one of my videos. He's the karate combat heavyweight champion,
Yeah.
and I actually had him up here to do a seminar.
Cool.
You know, and he made a comment on this. I'm like, geez, you could have at least tagged me. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm like, first of all, call me Tim. Secondly, I thought the video was funny, and Sam is really funny.
Yeah.
So then we did some back and forth and all this other stuff, and you know, blah blah blah. You know, but I mean, there's some people who've just come after me taking shots, and I'm like, oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And depending on the person, sometimes I've just responded privately because I don't want to help their analytics.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to feed into it.
Yeah. One guy was I've had people body shame me. I was a machine when I was in my 30s. I had car accidents, all this other stuff, and yada, yada, yada. And unfortunately, during all this time, the doctors never told me I needed to adjust my caloric intake. So here's my advice. If you've ever been in an injury when you're doing martial arts or training, you're no longer working out like a machine, so don't feed that machine.
Mm-hmm.
And this last car accident I had, I lost muscle mass. I gained weight, obviously, only about 5 pounds, but I lost a lot of muscle mass because I was more in tune with that to help me from going down that path. But, you know, like no one should be body shaming anybody for this, that, and the other thing. So
No.
this guy's going after Chief Tappy, who's
Yeah.
out there, which I don't like him, but I stuck up for him because this guy was going around with a pillow shoved under
I've
his
seen
shirt.
that.
and all
Yeah,
that
yeah. I've
stuff.
seen it. Yeah.
So I went after him, and now he came after me a little,
Yeah.
wearing a white wig and stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, you're just proving what kind of douchebag you are. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like you're just making yourself like an idiot, aren't you?
You're a martial artist too. Okay, good.
Yeah. Has social media, do you think, been good for martial arts, or do you think it rewards more the confidence, the controversy, the flashy techniques, the body shaming, like you just suggested, kind of getting those hooks and those, just getting attention? Really, it's attention seeking, a lot of it.
So I know that I've been able to help the industry because I've helped people find schools around the world, including in the Philippines,
Yeah.
where one of my recent trips, I was over there. Guy came to do private lessons with me. Man, I wish I could train here. I'm like, I wish you were here to train. I go, well, do you want to train? Yeah. Pick me up Sunday. We're going down to Lynetta Park. And I introduced him to a friend of mine, and he signed up before we left.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
I've had people say, you know, I'm in Buffalo, New York, so I'm near Niagara Falls. New York City is 6 hours away. So get a lot of New Yorkers. Hey, can I come and train with you? I'm in Buffalo. Oh, that's too far. Do you know anyone here? I reached out to a few friends. So there's this club called TSR Kali.
Yeah.
And I go, is this near you? Yeah, go check them out. And when we were at a seminar, they're like, hey, you know, first time I met them, I go, hey, Tim, thanks. Thanks for what? For sending me all these people. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
well, I go, so-and-so spoke on behalf of you, and I'd rather send somebody. I mean, listen, I'd rather have them train with me, but if they're not me, I'd still rather get these people access to Filipino martial arts if that's what they're looking for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think it's good. I think there's the bad side. I think there's it's very egocentric. But I think it's also helped give Filipino martial arts a bigger footprint on the internet.
Absolutely.
And I look at a lot of my content, and I'm pulling something up while I'm talking to you. And when someone gives me, you know, they'll say stuff. I go, you know, so they'll say, hey Tim, you did all this controversial stuff. I go, have I? I go, maybe that's your analytics, because I don't. If I went back 35 days at one time, and I found the only comments about jiu-jitsu was responding to somebody who was taking a shot at me.
Yeah.
Like, here's over a month of content without me talking about. That's all you ever do, really? So if you're telling me all I've ever done, what it really tells me is you haven't gone to my page to look to see the topics.
Sure.
Because it's not. Now, you know, just like if all you ever receive in your emails, or if you're paging through and all of a sudden why do I get all these ads for Viagra and Cialis? Well, you must have been looking about it. Why am I?
Yeah.
When I do my search on Instagram, and there's nothing but a bunch of hot looking girls here. What's that about? You must have been looking at cute girls.
Click. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I make a comment. We had a I got a pool cleaner, the robot pool cleaners.
Mm-hmm.
The day I'm returning it, all of a sudden 5 ads popped up on my feeds.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, I'm like, okay, all right. I mean, 'cause, 'cause my wife was handling all that stuff, so I just, but I said it, and all of a sudden it pops up because Big Brother's always listening,
It's always there. It's always listening.
always there. Get a flip phone.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but I mean, I look at this, and I've got and a funny thing, like all my jiu-jitsu comments, my jiu-jitsu coach is in a bunch of the videos. He was on one yesterday where he's looking for my approval, doing some throws to someone, just like I did his recently before that. But I mean, I'm looking at this stuff, and it's like, okay, he doing jiu-jitsu, knife defense with using a book, a reaction video of a guy doing capoeira kick at karate combat. Oh, today's announcement for me being here with you. Stick haymaker defense, tie kick, backpack, talking about somebody, Master Ken reaction video.
Yeah.
Someone putting me in, my coach putting me in a rear naked choke
Yeah.
while I'm doing Sinawali's.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm not busting anyone's chops.
Yeah.
We go through all this stuff. I mean, I can easily go probably a month, maybe a month and a half, where I'm not making any jokes towards Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Sure.
But I mean, I also poke fun at myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's important to, I think. Yeah.
So it's all, it is what it is. I think it's a great tool if utilized properly. I think the thing here is you got to figure out. Okay, listen, we're all doing it for. There's always something self about this because it's advertising you.
Yeah, yeah. Of course.
I mean, so people are looking to get monetized or fame or book seminars. My monetization is more about being able to do my seminars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But all this stuff, I mean, everyone's got their own reason for doing it. Oh, I'm putting content out. So I was talking to this one guy, and he goes, "Why do you do it?" And I was trying to explain. He goes, "You should look at all my content." This is a guy, a local guy. I go, "Hey, listen, I was in the Philippines. I got stopped at a mall. I got stopped at a 7-Eleven. I got stopped in the airport. Someone visited me at the hotel, on an escalator here, in the airport. All these things happen. I was at a tournament. It took me over an hour to get around one basketball court because that many people were coming up and recognizing me.
Sure.
Which means my social media worked and I'm getting the message out.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get my content up, but I don't care about autographs. I'm like, it's not about autographs, but if you want to get your content out, you still want to be seen. So stop lying about this.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
upset.
Be honest about it.
Success
Yeah,
level's different. I go, but this is the proof of what we can do. Now we want to leverage that for good stuff, And right now, when I started promoting Huego Todo, which is cage stick fighting in the Philippines, and we're doing it over here in the States. So I'm one of its ambassadors. So I did some videos on it, reaction, and it's got some good exposure. I talk about WeCAF because I'm part of it, and there's some good things. There's things I like about WeCAF. There's things I don't like about WeCAF.
Yeah.
But if it was in the SEA Games, we're trying to get in the Pan Am Games. It's a stepping stone getting into the Olympics.
Cool.
And it may not do it during my lifetime, but if we got it there, wouldn't that be good for all of us?
Yeah, it's a step. Yeah.
And then of course I do the video. Well, after what happened in France, do you really want to get stuff in front of in the Olympics? I'm like, stop it. That's a country host. That's not. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't even watch it. I don't watch the commentary. I turn on the television, and then there's curling, which I don't even get why every time I turn around, curling was on.
Yeah.
Curling.
It's following you.
Now, I'm on the Canadian border, but I'm still like, and I actually like watching it. You can't once you start watching it, you can't turn it off.
Yeah,
You just got to see. It's like Iron Chef. You got to see how this ends. I'm gonna make
see it
ice
through.
cream with eels. Eels? Oh, this is bullshit.
Thank you, Tim. Final question then. I think beyond making someone kind of better at fighting, what do you think, in your opinion, good martial arts should ultimately empower them to become?
I think it's making them better people. Okay. It has changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated high school with no direction. I lost my father when I was 15. I had a bipolar stepfather I had to deal with. I didn't have good role models at that stage of my life. I made a lot of bad choices. Nothing illegal or anything. I just wasn't. I look back and I go to myself. Even today, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking back then? Got involved in martial arts, and I excelled in it, and it offered me a lot of opportunities. Now, it's not going to do everybody the same way. I've taught in 28 states and 18 countries, and more to come. I've got to see the world, and every time I've gone, even and I get exposed to different culture. Even going from one state to another, there's different culture.
Yeah, sure.
Going from the country to the city to the suburbs, from one neighborhood to another, there's a different culture. I keep growing as a person, and the more, I've definitely. I remember, like, the first time I went to the Philippines, it changed everything, and I never saw poverty at that level. We saw it on TV, but I said, that's bullshit. That's UNICEF ads, whatever. Then I got to see it. Now, it's not like that where I go now, but it was that way when I first got there, and I just cried my eyes out. And then we went to a shopping center later that night. It was one of the biggest shopping centers in the world, in the same country that had the most poverty I've ever seen in my life. So, and I realized, looking back, that anytime I feel sorry for myself, I think about that trip.
Yeah.
But that trip was all because of martial arts. It all started. So, so for me, this has been one hell of a journey for me. And this is why I think everyone, and I know not everyone's going to have the same thing, but it's life changing. You can join competitive sports. You can join soccer, or European football. You can do American football. You can do baseball, hockey, whatever, and you get this team, this camaraderie type thing. But martial arts, if it's in the right school, the right culture, you have this family, especially in the Filipino martial arts. So we did a show. Some people call it idol worshiping. We call it a family. The Filipinos are always. I mean, Remy would just. I got screwed over with a trip, and I'm stuck in Germany. He was pulling money out of his pocket to give me cash to work. I go, no, and then I had money transferred to my account, so I got it all worked out. But I had to buy new tickets and pay cash for them, because it's not like today where if you don't need your ticket, you just show up. Back then, if you lost your physical ticket, you didn't have.
Yeah,
that was it. That was before 2000. So, I've been a couple of times where things like that. Professor just showed when I had some issues that it was a family environment, and we promote that family environment, and that family environment helps develop people in that family. And martial arts has done so much for me, and I think it could do so much for others. Not everyone's going to get the same benefits. Obviously, you're going to have to want to like it, enjoy it. But I think the world, or at least my part of the world, would be a much worse place if we didn't have these. And if I didn't get into this, I think my life would be, I don't think I'd be satisfied in life. I think I'd be upset and angry and have a job I don't want to do and be stuck in a bad situations, And I'm not saying that this is definitely not the easiest job financially to do. Let me tell you that. But
preach, yeah.
I would not change anything, including the mistakes I made. I may have offended people and stuff like that over the times, because a foot and mouth disease. That's what I'm known for. But the thing here is that all these decisions that I've made, and a mistake is a learning opportunity, and I would not risk losing these learning opportunities as much. I hope I didn't hurt anybody or anything, but the thing is, this is what made me in today, and I can't fathom who I'd be today without my martial arts.
Well said. Amazing. Tim, thank you. If people want to get in contact with you, I think it's fairly easy, but is there anything that you want to say to kind of finish it off, or anything that you want to, kind of wrap up with, I suppose?
Okay, well, Datu Hartman, D-A-T-U, Datu Hartman. And if you're ever up for a trip, we have the 70th anniversary Modern Arnis Camp coming up in April of 2027. And that'll be here in Buffalo, New York. I'm right by Niagara Falls, so I'm 6 hours from New York City, so nowhere near that nonsense down there. And if you've never been to the falls, it's empowering. Professor loved coming here because of the falls. And but if you're ever there, and I go to Europe periodically. November, I'm going to be in Germany. There's a rumor I might be in England during that trip. I don't know. I don't know if that's
That'd
true
be cool.
or not.
Yeah, it'd be nice to meet you in person. So I'll definitely keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've been to Exeter a couple times in Plymouth, so yeah, I've been to the country, but it's been a while.
Yeah, you need to come further up north. Exeter and Plymouth, they're good. Nah, you need to come up north. A little bit further north.